Hey guys, Mr. Kruger here working on the Chapter 0 review worksheet. Now this review worksheet, first and second page, is going to cover everything you need to know on our Chapter 0 test. Okay, so watch this video as many times as you need in order to get all these solutions and understand how to do everything. I tried to pick 1 or 2 questions from each section just so we can cover everything. Okay, and remember, if you have questions, please come into class ready to go. Here we go. Solve the following one-step equations. X plus 15 equals 28. Well, remember, when we're solving, we need to follow order of operations from reverse order. That's a D right there. Okay, so start with addition and subtraction, and then work your way up to multiplication, division, and then exponent and parenthesis. Well, let's look right here. I see addition, so if I have to apply the inverse, that means I need to subtract 15 from both sides. If I subtract 15 from both sides, that's going to give me x equals, because 15 minus 15 simplifies to 0. 28 minus 15 is 13, and that's my solution. Take a look over here. Same idea, we're still solving. So we have to apply inverse operations. Well, this symbol right here is division, okay, because there's no addition or subtraction, and the inverse of division is multiplication. So that means I need to multiply both sides by 14. If I do so, the 14's simplify out because multiplication is the inverse of division, and we get x equals negative 9 times 14. Well, remember, we talked about this in class. If you want to figure out an easier way to multiply bigger numbers, split up 14 into 10 and 4. And then you can multiply 9 times 10, which gives you negative 90, and negative 9 times 4, which gives you negative 36, and add those two. 90 plus 36 is 126. And it's negative because it's a negative 9 times a positive 14. Okay, let's take a look at number 4. Solve the following two-step equations. Okay, so if it's a two-step, that means you still got to work order of operations from reverse order from the bottom up. Okay, so is there any subtraction? There is. So we have to apply the inverse, which is adding 18 to both sides. So we get 2y equals 44, gives me 50, plus 1 more is 62. And then we've done addition subtraction, so now work your way up from division multiplication. Well, I see that there's multiplication of 2 times y, so I need to apply the inverse, which is division. And I get y equals half of 62 is 31, and there's my solution. Okay, 23 equals 6k plus 5. Remember, work your way up from the bottom. Is there any subtraction? Nope, but there is addition. Remember, to undo addition, we have to do the inverse, which is subtraction of 5. Those simplify out, and I get 18 equals 6k. And then if there's no operation written between the 6 and the k, because multiplication is next, I need to apply the inverse. So I will divide by 6, because division is the inverse of multiplication. And we get k equals 3. Okay, solve the following multi-steps. This means it could be more steps than just the 2 or 1 that we did here. Well, first thing I see is multiplication, because I can't combine x plus 6, so I need to distribute the 5 to both terms, so I'm just going to rewrite everything else. 37 equals negative 3 plus 5x, and then plus 5 times 6 is 30. Now remember, when solving an equation with variables or expressions on both sides, you have to simplify or combine like terms first. So we get 37 equals negative 3 plus 30 is 27. And now I'm just solving a two-step equation, just like we did in the problems from number 4 and 5 before. Subtract 27 from both sides because I have to undo addition first. So I get 10 equals 5x. Remember, it's 5 multiplied by x, so I have to do multiplication, and the inverse of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide by 5, and I get x equals 2. Okay, so now we've done one-step, two-step, and multi-step. 10, 11, and 12 are the literal equations that we passed out during the quiz for an extension. If you want to try those, please do. The solutions will be on Schoology. But let's jump to 14. Solving an equation with variables on both sides. Well, the first thing you got to do here is you have to distribute the 3 to both terms in the x minus 2 expression. So we get 3x, and then 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Distribute the 2 to both terms in that expression, which gives you 4x, and then plus 2. Now we need to bring the variables to one side and the constants to the other. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, remember we talked about this in class, you want to subtract the smaller variable from the bigger variable. So that's why I'm going to subtract the 3x, so that I'm left with a positive x. 3x simplify. Remember to bring down this negative sign with the 6. 4x minus 3x is just 1x plus 2. Now because I brought the variables to the right side, I need to bring the constants to the other, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides because it's the inverse of addition, and I get x equals negative 8. Okay, last question on the front side. Simplifying the following expressions using order of operations. So, our order of operations is right here. Well, PEMDAS, again. And if we have PEMDAS, we have to deal with addition and subtraction. So we're going to work from left to right, which is addition first because it's subtracting a negative. Gives us 20 plus 2, which gives us 22. Okay, flip it over. A question you're going to see is you have to explain the difference between an expression and an equation. Remember, if you want to look back to your notes, we did a reading on day 2 to describe the difference. So take a look back at those, and you'll be able to know the difference between an expression and an equation. But I want to jump into these questions, number 20 and 21. Determine whether the statements are expressions or equations. And you can use your answer from 19 to help you. And then either simplify or solve using substitution. Okay, well, I'm going to take a look here. Y equals 5x minus 7. Just because it said equals, that means it is an equation. And if it's an equation, that means we have to solve. Okay, but this is saying solve when x equals 3. So I'm going to plug, wherever I see an x, I'm going to replace that with a 3. And there was only one, which was right here next to the 5. So I get y equals 5 times 3 is 15 minus 7. And then combine like terms. 15 minus 7 is going to give me y equals 8. Question 21. 4m. Well, there's no equal signs. That means it's got to be an expression. So all I can do is simplify. So I'm not getting a solution. I'm just simplifying. 4, and whenever I see an m, I'm going to plug negative 1 in. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. No equal sign. All we're doing is simplifying. And there you go. Now I do want to do both inequalities at the bottom of the page. 4x is greater than negative 8. We need to solve and then graph. And then negative 2x plus 6 is not equal to, sorry. It's going to be less than or equal to 12. Okay? So, if I want to get x by itself, I need to solve just like an equation, but I'm going to leave the symbol there. Divide by 4 to both sides. We have to undo multiplication, and we're left with x is greater than a negative 2. So if you want to plot a few points, we got negative 2, negative 1, 0, negative 3, and so forth. Well, if it's just greater than, it's going to be an open circle, and greater than means we're going towards the positive, so it's going to be getting bigger. Okay, 26, a two-step equation. We still need to get x by itself, but I need to undo addition first. So I get negative 2x is less than or equal to a negative 2. Oh, sorry, subtraction, so negative 6. I almost thought that was division. So we get positive 6, 12 minus 6. And then I need to divide by negative 2 to both sides. And remember, whenever you divide, you have to flip the sign. So it was less than or equal to. Now it's going to be greater than or equal to a negative 3. Okay, so let's plot a few points. Negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0. Because it is greater than or equal to, it's got to be a closed circle. And because it's greater than or equal to, we're still going to be going to the right. Okay, that covers them all, guys. Good luck.